Hello, good morning once again. I'll be the one to conduct your interview for today. But before that, I want you to relax. Right after I press on the recording button, we'll start with the interview proper. But before that, do you have questions or any clarification before we'll start the interview?
I actually don't have, and I appreciate your time to be on this call. I'm just really kind of sick right now and having a dry cough, so I'm sorry during my time that I make coffee during the interview.
Yeah, that's fine. That's understandable.
Yeah, that would be.
Thanks for giving me the heads up, though. All right, so I'll press the recording button now, and that would mean that we're going to start our interview process. So, just a reminder, it should be English only policy during the interview, and then when you answer the questions, just be relaxed and just let us know your skills and your expertise. That would be a great help and contribution for the company. Okay?
No problem.
All right.
Recording in progress.
All right. So good morning once again. My name is one of the team manager. But we want to conduct this interview to check your eligibility for the job posting that we have, and kind of evaluate as well if your skills and your expertise as well as your knowledge are a good fit for the job or for the position that we're looking for. So to start with, can you introduce yourself to me briefly, please?
Sure, no problem. So, once again, I am Eric, and I have a degree in marketing management, backed by 7 years of experience working in a corporate BPO environment here in the Philippines, serving US clients. And prior to that, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for that. Then, I was working for 7 years in the BPO industry. Then, before I left the corporate role, I already gave the introduction or pioneered a team of support specialists. My role there was to mentor and guide them. Then I was really heavily involved in leadership team meetings. And I believe I learned or be better at handling people at my last corporate role. Then, prior to that, yes, I was a customer service representative, where I answer phone calls from answering inquiries up to handling escalation calls for upset customers. And as a travel agent, I planned to travel reservation and collaborated with vendors such as airlines, hotels, bars, and even insurance, with strong focus on customer satisfaction. What I love about the industry is that I get to interact with people from different cultural backgrounds, where I learn new skills, ideas, and I would like to share that knowledge to your organization. And then, during the pandemic, my focus was shifted to social media, creating content across my social media platforms that allowed me to gain thousands of followers. Then just recently, I successfully managed a social media account for a local brand, and while working closely to the owner who is based in the UK. And right now, as I'm looking for an opportunity online, I'm taking online courses in Coursera. It is sponsored by the Department of Trade and Industry. Yeah, that would be it that I would like to share with you as well.
So, thank you very much for walking me through on your job experiences and the expertise that you had when you were with your previous company, or should I say, BPO journey. You mentioned you've worked for BPO for 7 years and you've got an experience on support specialist. Is that a team manager role, or a second role?
It was actually like an idea of our senior manager. And his idea is he want to achieve some goals, especially on the penalty fees and agent error that our travel agents having. So he want me to focus on that. Then after the processes and the execution I have done, it works well. So it lowered directly the penalty fee that will directly affect the performance bonus of the accounts. So after that, they decided to add more people that I'm managing.
Okay, alright. That sounds great. Aside from the travel account that you work with, what other line of business did you encounter?
Actually, I'm kinda a guy who loves side hustle. So yeah, when I was working in a BPO industry, I actually have some side hustles, such as selling food packs in the operations, selling cigarettes, as well as like 5-6. I lend money. At that time, I'm also finishing my degree, so I consider myself as a working student. And then was once a tour guide for a small local brand.
All right, great. I'm sure that you're one heck of a very responsible person and a very hardworking one, and that's a good indication, and that's a good characteristic that VA should have. Now, I want to ask, do you have any prior experience as a virtual assistant?
As of now, I consider as a social media manager for a local brand. And I usually send out photos, videos, promotionals, as well as strategies that I make come up. So it was a local brand for a travel agency. So the owner is actually a Filipino, but he's now based in the UK. The difference there is just that our monthly my salary will base on commission or conversion rate. So our focus that was last month. At the end of my rule, where we increased brand awareness, credibility, and conversion rate through promotional graphic design that I send out to the owner personally that they can post on their social media so they can reach more foreign customers or guests that will book directly if they want to visit like Cebu, Bohol, Negros, and Siquijor. Then after we decided to have a tour guide, a registered nurse to make sure that our guests, foreign guests, are safe during the travel. So that strategy actually works well. And
All right, that's a great achievement. Since you mentioned that you were with social media management before, is it safe to assume that you also have Canva and graphic design experience?
of course, I have experience working at Canva, CapCut, a bit of Filmora, as well as Figma. Those are and other editing tools that I am currently trying to learn right now. That's as Adobe, but it's quite heavy to be downloaded in my computer. And it's quite expensive too. Yeah. So
It's kind of heavy and it's kind of expensive to purchase Adobe.
yeah.
Anyways, that's great that you have a very good background with Canva, CapCut. Those are the platforms that we use when we manage the social media of our clients. Now, what about bookkeeping? Are you familiar with bookkeeping tasks like managing payments, donations, and financials of clients? Do you have any of those experience?
I'm familiar with it as a graduate in marketing management, but I don't actually have like a hands-on experience to it. But I think that's something that we learn, and I believe Tesla offer that too.
Okay, that sounds great. So at least you have a background, though you're not really familiar or you don't have any hands-on experience, but at least you have background on how to do the basic bookkeeping and handle financials with a certain organization or a certain client. Because here you'll be working with a client where he or she manage an organization, a school, or a business wherein one of the main tasks that we do is to really do bookkeeping and handle their in and outs of their financial status. So it would be very great, very helpful if you have background with bookkeeping. So that's an additional ace if you have that. Aside from this application, do you have any other pending applications so far?
As of now, I haven't tried to pass any yet on any site because I'm trying to get well first before because it's really, I find it useless if I go on an interview like this right now that I didn't have any preparation and and even because my throat is getting kind of itchy. Yeah.
Okay, I understand. Sorry. So, by the way, before we proceed with some situational questions, I wanted to ask if do you think you will have any problem working with company or just personalities?
I don't think so. Knowing the history of
Alright, and I'm pretty much sure that you know that this will be a client-based job wherein it would matter. It will matter if how many hours your client will require you to do work for him or her. So, and on an hourly basis or on an hourly standpoint, dollar rate, how much is your expected salary?
most of the time right now, the amount being offered is around $3, right? And yeah, for fulfillment, of course, I want to go for while starting. $3 will be fine.
Okay, alright. I get that, and that sounds fair. So, I'll have that noted here, so at least the management will also know your thought about this hourly rate that you're expected to have. Now, I'll be asking some situational questions just to check if how prepared you are with being one of the virtual assistants. So let's start with your prioritization and your time management skills. So remember I mentioned a while ago that you might be working with multiple clients. Some of your clients would require you to work 10 hours per week, 20 hours per week, 10 hours, 5 hours per week. So that would mean that for you to get 8 hours 8 hours work where on a day-to-day basis you need to work with multiple clients, like 3 or 4 clients. Now, what if on a certain day, all of these clients would require you to finish a task or a project that would require the same deadline? How will you make sure that you will be able to manage all of the tasks accordingly with the same satisfaction rate?
It's quite hard. I'm really sorry. For me is that in my experience, I learned that prioritizing the most important tasks first before focusing on the less challenging ones. So I prioritize the sensitive um, that has like an effect directly to the client in his business or whatnot. Then I learned that if I prioritize the most pressing task first, I will be able to like meet all the deadlines. Then uh, way back then I realized that when I make a list of tasks before I start my day and check what I need to start makes me more efficient. So in that way, I can go on handling, we'll say, multitask. So both tasks will be handled and meet all the deadlines. And then after completing tasks, I usually like delete or rearrange the task in order for me to see what are those that I may need to double check, and then I'll rearrange my tasks depending on the needs. Yeah, that would probably what I'll do.
Okay, that's great. It's really more with prioritization based on the needs and the demands and how urgent is the task is. So that's a great idea. I wanted to know, because here in working with clients, you might be or you will be handling confidential information of our clients, such as SSN, card information, or card details. How do you assure us that you'll take care of this sensitive information with the most confidentiality? Because that's very important with and of course with the clients that we handle.
Working in BPO, we always have high regard when it comes to confidentiality. We're actually trained and take like assessment before for Data Privacy Act in the US, as I remember. Because when handling like a travel account, especially in my end, I handle millions of pesos if you convert it, especially if I handle the customers from Expedia or Velocity, and their bookings would reach up to 80,000 to 100,000 or more. And we usually use Black Card. They have such American Black Card, as I remember, and I know how or I understand how important SSN to them. So I believe, yeah, I have a high regard for confidentiality. Based on my experience working in BPO.
I feel so amazed when I heard that you worked with Expedia before.
Yeah,
It's,
have you worked with?
no. You mentioned you worked with Expedia.
Yeah, Expedia, Travelocity, and Hotels.com, Orbitz as well, was the one responsible filing the disputes. So I usually collaborate with the airlines. Yeah, that's what I usually does before I left the corporate world there in
Okay, alright, that sounds great. Now, this will be my last visual question before we proceed with the last part of this interview, which will be your listening skills. I'll have you listen. I'll have you listen to a recording, and you will have to chat your response based on how the client requested you for a certain task. Now, but let me hear your answer first about this. This is very important to me. If I'll be the one to handle you, if I'll be your team manager, I'll be very specific and very strict when it comes to attendances. So, clients often face sudden schedule changes or unexpected priorities. Now, are you okay with sudden changes with your shift or your schedules as well? Or are you open with changing schedules based on the demands and the needs of your clients?
Honestly, working in the BPO, I'm kind of used to it. So by handling such schedules, all I need to have is like planning ahead and try to foresee if let's say there will be some changes on the schedule and from day shift to night shift, then probably the best way is I try to foresee that and plan ahead So, but planning ahead, for example, then I always make sure that if I have a night shift, I have a plenty of sleep, well hydrated, like, and of course we usually draw our tumbler full of coffee to keep us like when we feel tired, feel us alive, or to keep me awake. Then of course we need to make sure that we have like work-life balance. So after the shift, we need to have a good sleep. Then try to go out, have a run or walk to distress, relax. Then visiting your family or friends sometimes help you relax and de-stress. Yeah. That I don't enjoy
Alright.
it.
But good to know that you're very much flexible with time changes or schedule changes. I'm glad to hear that. So we're about to end our interview. But before that, let's take the last step, which will be a call listening session. I'll have you listen recording and then type in the response. Like what I want